السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. We continue inshallah ta'ala with the tafsir and Surah Al-Zalzala. Surah Al-Zalzala, Surah number 99. Surah Al-Zalzala, Surah number 99. Inshallah, we'll start with the recitation, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم فمن يعمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يره. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان إخفاء وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها إخفاء and أخبار. The kha is heavy before and after is light, and then the ra is heavy, and also before and after is light. أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم. تنوين after لام إدغام without غنة. فمن يعمل إدغام مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى. ذرة خيرا, this is إدغام without غنة, and then خيرا يرى إدغام with غنة. ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شرا يرى. This is the first one is إدغام with غنة, and the second one is إخفاء, and then إدغام with غنة. Surah Al-Zalzala, or Surah إذا زلزلت, is some said that it's a Madani surah. Some had mentioned this, and some said that it's Makki, and this is what many had said, that it's more authentically to be that it's a Makki surah. And the surah is it was said to be revealed, or those who said that it's Madani, they said it was revealed after Surah Al-Nisa and before Surah Al-Hadid. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. So here the surah إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها, which means when the earth is shaken with its final earthquake. إذا زلزلت. And إذا, as the surah starts with إذا, when, refers to the time and when this will happen. So this is referring to the day of Al-Qiyamah. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها. He says يخبر تعالى عما يكون يوم القيامة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is informing us of what's going to be in the day of Al-Qiyamah. وأن الأرض تتزلزل وترجف وترتج. All meanings of the shaking in such a way that it's nobody have ever heard of and never seen whatsoever. This is because of the day of Al-Qiyamah. حتى يسقط ما عليها من بناء وعلم. Till everything on the face of earth is completely flattened down. There's nothing upright, nothing is erected, everything is, as the other verses, دكا دكا and things like this. فتندك جبالها, the mountains will be flattened down. وتسوى تلالها, and the tilal is the plural of tell, which is the hill, will be also level to the ground. وتكون قاعا صفصفا لا عوج فيه ولا أمت, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran. So إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها, يعني this is the زلزال. The زلزال or the earthquake is something minor, it's something that happens and then it stops. But زلزالها, this is the زلزال that will completely change the earth. This is the day of القيامة. إذا زلزلت الأرض زلزالها وأخرجت الأرض أثقالها, and when the earth throws out its burdens. And he says here أثقالها أي ما في بطنها, what's in its inside of it. البطن is anything that is the inside of something, and the batna of the human being is his inside. And sometimes they refer to it to the stomach of the human being because that's what the inside of the person. So أثقالها أي ما في بطنها من الأموات والكنوز, the dead people, the treasures of it, whatever is underneath, whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, what's under the earth, all of that will be brought outside. Well, أثقال is the ثقل or the ثقل, which is the heaviness. And it's usually it's a word that it is used for something that is heavy in weight and also valuable in its value. So أخرجت الأرض أثقالها وقال الإنسان ما لها, and the human being and the man will say, what is the matter with it? وقال الإنسان, and الإنسان here is the humankind. إذا رأى ما عراها من الأمر العظيم مستعظما لذلك, when he sees what's happening of this great matter, مستعظما, عظيم مستعظما, مستعظما, that means making it such a great thing, he would say ما لها, what's أي شيء عرض لها, what's the matter with it? The earth has been always in its place, everything is happening according to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and now this is the zilzal of al-qiyamah, right? So this is more of a ta'ajjub, or something that is of a question of an amazing matter, because the believers, they believe in it. وقال الإنسان ما لها يومئذ تحدث أخبارها. يومئذ, on that day, it will declare its information. يومئذ تحدث, what is تحدث? يومئذ, in that day, the day of Al-Qiyamah. تحدث is the present tense of حدث يحدث. So here تحدث meaning the earth, الأرض. يومئذ تحدث meaning the earth, as he says الأرض, أخبارها, it's أخبار, it's information, it's news. What is its أخبار? تشهد على العاملين, it witness for or against. The عاملين, those who worked on the face of earth, meaning the human beings. Everyone is working. There's no human being that doesn't work. If he's going to be from among the people of Jannah or the hellfire, that means he had some amal, he had some deeds that he is done on the face of earth, and the deeds doesn't have to be a physical one. The most important of it is the al-iman wal-kufr, which the origin of it is in the heart. So يومئذ تحدث أخبارها تشهد على العاملين, witness upon the عاملين, the doers, with what they've done on the face of earth من خير وشر, from evil and good. فإن الأرض من جملة الشهود الذين يشهدون على عبادي بأعمالهم, because the earth is one of the things that will witness for or against the person because of their actions. So, and there's the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when the Prophet ﷺ, he said to the people, أتدرون ما أخبارها? Do you know what is أخبارها? What is the news? What is the information of the earth that is going to speak out? They said, Allah wa Rasuluhu a'lam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam knows best. He says, فإن أخبارها أن تشهد على كل عبد أو أمة بما عمل على ظهرها تقول عمل يوم كذا كذا وكذا. That it will witness for or against every abd or amma, male or female, with what they've done on the face of the earth, it would say he did on that day such and such. So this is أعمال العباد. And also some said because of the previous verse, أثقالها, it will inform of what's underneath it that comes out on the day of Al-Qiyamah. So, so this is, and many things that the people of the Tafsir they mentioned. So this is the earth that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created, and it's a creation of Allah, and it's created for a purpose, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one that would will for it to speak and to witness. يومئذ تحدث أخبارها بأن ربك أوحى لها, because your Lord has inspired it, because your Lord has inspired it, أي وأمرها, and he, that means commanded it, أن تخبر بما عمل عليها, and to inform what has been done on it. فلا تعصي لأمره, does not disobey the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's the Lord of the Alameen. So بأن ربك أوحى لها, the wahy from Allah, kun, for it to be, and it becomes, to, for the earth to the zilzal to happen, for it to bring forth what's inside of it, for it to witness for or against the people. All of that are means of unseen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reveals of what's going to happen in the day of judgment. And then يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم. On that day, the people, mankind, will proceed in scattered groups that they may be shown their deeds. يومئذ, again, the day of Al-Qiyamah, which everyone is going to that direction. Everyone will be resurrected and everybody will stand by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So يصدر الناس أشتاتا. يصدر الناس. الناس is the people. يصدر. الصدور, not chest. الصدور is the plural of صدر, and الصدر is the chest, which is the same word. But here in the context of the actions of the people, is when the people come out and they become apparent and they become shown. Like the sadr, the chest is called sadr because this is what appears from the person when he walks forward. So, and when they say sadara عن الماء, sadara, like, means they came about or they went out and things like this. So يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا, and أشتاتا is the plural of shat. Shatta, the word shatta also we heard it before. That means they dispersed in many different groups. And these groups in the day of judgment, we didn't read yet the tafsir. These different groups yet in the day of judgment is according to what? Not according to their nationalities. That's an important meaning that we need to remember. Not according to the color of their skin. These types of alliance that people would have in this world is of no significance in this life except what is referred to as a'mal, the deeds of the people. So, and the many hadith of the Prophet والسلام, that al-mar'u yuhsharu ma'a man ahab, the person will be resurrected with the one that he loves. And the one that doesn't make salah will be resurrected with Fir'aun and Haman and Qarun and things like this. So, لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُم, for them to see their actions. لِيُرَوْا أَعْمَالَهُم. He says here in the tafsir, يَوْمَئِذٍ يَصْدُرُ النَّاسِ مِنْ مَوْقِفِ الْقِيَامَةِ حِينَ يَقْضِي اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُم, that they leave or they come out from the state, from the place of Al-Qiyamah, when Allah judge between them, أشتاتا فرقا متفاوتين, أشتاتا, groups, متفاوتين, different levels. ليروا أعمالهم. يروا, first of all, the lam is the lam of the ta'lil, for them to see. يروا is in the passive tense of يرى, for them to see, and the واو الجماعة. ليروا أعمالهم, their actions. أعمالهم مفعول به, their actions. أي ليريهم الله, for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make them see ما عملوا, what they've done, من الحسنات والسيئات, ويريهم جزاءه موفرا, and he make them see their جزاء, their recompense, موفرا, fully. This is the day of al-hisab. This is the day of reckoning. This is the day of al-jaza, as they have been promised, with the bayyina, with the clarity, as mentioned in Surah Al-Bayyina before, so that no one will have an excuse whatsoever. So, ashtatan, again, as Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, متفرقين, dispersed according to their actions. أهل الإيمان على حدة, as he says, the people of Iman on one side, وأهل كل دين على حدة, and the people of every religion on their own, together. So this is how they will be, and they will be reckoned accordingly. يومئذ يصدر الناس أشتاتا ليروا أعمالهم. And as you have been hearing throughout the surahs in Hizb al-Mufassal, this subject of al-amal and the actions that we do in this life, people will see it in the day of al-Qiyamah. This is a meaning that is always repeated. And the deeds are already, once a person does it, it goes away. It goes to the book of one's deeds, it's preserved. If it's a sin, if a person repents to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it gets wiped away. If not, I mean, the day of judgment, people will see their actions. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى, which means whoever, uh, so whosoever does good equal to the weight of an atom or a small ant shall see it, and the opposite with the bad deeds. And this is one of the verses that these two verses is one of the very important verses when it comes to at-targhib and at-tarhib, to be encouraged and motivated to do good, and the opposite of that of at-tarhib, or to be warned against the punishment from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's, as some would say, this is sufficient for me to hear these two verses, right? And that's what these verses affected and changed the lives of the companions radiallahu anhum. And as you see here, as he said in the tafsir, فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى. He says, وَهَذَا شَامِلٌ عَامٌ لِلْخَيْرِ وَالشَّرِّ كُلِّهِ. This is general, this is encompasses all good and evil. لأنه إذا رأى مثقال الذرة, because if the person sees the weight of a dharra, and a dharra, the word dharra that they translated as an atom or an ant, or it's a word that refers to التي هي أحقر الأشياء, the most, the smallest matters whatsoever that people would consider. This is what a dharra means. So they call the ant, not any ant, the ant when it was just born, the smallest size of the ants, they call it this the dharra. Or as you heard, they give it the name of the smallest particle, the smallest element whatsoever that exists. So it's not for us to say, oh, how much of it, what's the weight of it. No, it's a word that refers to the smallest thing that a person can think or not think of. If any weight of the smallest thing, مثقال ذرة خيرا, of goodness, he would see it. So he says, وهذا شامل عام للخير والشر كله لأنه إذا رأى مثقال الذرة التي هي أحقر الأشياء وجوزي عليها, the meaning of seeing it, that means he would see it and he will be rewarded or punished for it. فما فوق ذلك من باب أولى وأحرى. So if it's more than the weight of the smallest thing ever, that means it's even more to be clearly stated that this is a person would see his actions, the major ones and the bigger ones than the weight of it is a mithqala dharra, which is every action. Some of the actions that people don't even recognize, and they think it's nothing, or it's a small thing, or it's something that is of no significance whatsoever. If it comes under the categories of actions, he will see it. And the only way for us to recognize this, because this is a very scary thing, it's something that should bring the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the hearts. The only way for us to know that is with ilm, with knowledge. What is the things that the person will be questioned about in the day of judgment? What are the actions? What's the smallest action? Smallest not in the sense of being insignificant, no, but it means that it's something easy, simple. As the Prophet ﷺ, when he passed by the grave of two individuals, and he said, إِنَّهُمَا لَا يُعَذَّبَانِ, they are both being punished. وَمَا يُعَذَّبَانِ فِي كَبِيرٍ, they're not being punished in something major, even though it's major. He said, وَإِنَّهُ لَكَبِيرٌ, and it is major. But it's not major meaning that it was very easy to avoid. أما أحدهما فكان يمشي في الناس بالنميمة Someone was walking around the people with a namima slandering, and the other one كان لا يستتر من بوله. He used to not to hide when he would urinate or clean himself. So as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says here, يوم تجد كل نفس ما عملت من خير محضرة. When every soul will see, تجد will find what it did, من خير of goodness, محضرة present. محضرة, the actions will be present with the person. This is what the human beings are all about in the day of judgment. It's nothing but their actions. وما عملت من سوء, what it did of evil. تود لو أن بينها وبينه أمدا بعيدا. It would wish that it was far away from its evil actions. ووجدوا ما عملوا حاضرا, and they found what they've done حاضرا, present. And as you see here, this is what the heart should be attached to. Some people, they are more concerned of other things in this life, how they appear in this life. But in the day of judgment is the amal, is the actions. He says, now this is a great benefit here. He says, وهذه الآية فيها غاية الترغيب في فعل الخير ولو قليلا والترهيب من فعل الشر ولو حقيرا. This ayah has the غاية, the utmost, the highest level of targhib, to be encouraged to do good deeds, even if it's the smallest thing, and to be warned against the evil, even if it's the smallest evil. There's no more, once a person hears this ayah, there is no more small or big when it comes to good and evil. If a person will see it in the day of judgment, and the recompense is an everlasting one, so there's no small things. Everything is a major thing. And this is supposed to be in the heart of the believers. So even when the Prophet ﷺ, he said, اتقوا النار ولو بشق تمرة. Shield yourself from the fire even with a half piece of a date. A half piece of a date. And Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, he said that this ayah أحكم آية في القرآن. أحكم آية. This is the most clear, one of the most clear verses that has its own rulings in the Quran, because it's so well established, because it comes with everything. There's nothing missing in it whatsoever. So the matter is by the mithqal of a dharra. The maw'idha, the admonition of the heart, is sufficient in this case. So فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَى, as he mentioned in the tafsir. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us benefit from the ayat, and to make it have its place in our actions. And you see then, the preciousness of this life that a person lives in. If this is how the deeds are, so then these seconds and minutes and hours that passes by without using them to increase the good deeds and to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is pleased with, it's a complete waste. And always, again, this is to be established with al-ilm.